Hi home bakers, today I'm in the kitchen making a black currant coffee cake.
If you love vintage recipes made with seasonal fruit, this moist and crumbly black currant coffee cake is the perfect recipe for you.
A tender cinnamon spice cake layered with juicy black currants and finished with a crumbly cinnamon streusel topping. This easy seasonal cake is perfect for your morning coffee or served as a snack. If you grow black currants, or if you've picked some up at the farmer's market and you're not quite sure what to do with them yet, then you've got to give this old-fashioned favorite a try.
So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make an old-fashioned blackberry currant coffee cake.
Alright, you're going to notice continuously in this recipe that I refer to black currants as blackberry currants. I'm not sure if this was a tongue twister for me or if I just had blackberries on my mind. But anyways, for this recipe we're going to start with the streusel topping. In a bowl I'm going to mix together 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/8 teaspoon or a pinch of salt. And I'm just going to crumble in with my fingertips 1/3 cup of softened butter. Once everything's moist and crumbly, you can set it aside.
You don't want a total even dusting of streusel while you're putting it on top of the batter. You are going to want a few little chunks inside because let's be honest, when you're looking for a piece of cake, you're going to want the one with the biggest chunk of streusel topping.
And now for the coffee cake batter. In a large bowl, I'm going to cream together 1/3 cup of softened butter with 3/4 cup of white sugar and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And I'm just going to stop to scrape down the bottom and sides of the bowl to make sure everything's getting mixed in evenly. Then I'm going to beat in 2 eggs, one at a time. Make sure to scrape down the bowl again between each addition. After this, the batter should be very light and creamy. And for the last of my wet ingredients, I'm going to add in 1 cup of buttermilk. If you don't have any buttermilk on hand, you can definitely still make this recipe. I have a few buttermilk substitution that I like using in my own kitchen, but the one I use most often is to stir a tablespoon of lemon juice in with a cup of milk. Now I'm going to sprinkle on top the dry ingredients. You're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Blend this gently into the wet ingredients.
And be sure to make this recipe your own. You can add in chopped nuts or even white chocolate chips.
And while it's mixing, I'm just going to line a square oven-proof pan with some parchment paper and a little bit of butter. And this is just going to help the parchment paper stick to the inside of the pan.
When you're preparing the black currants, you're going to want to remove any of the stem and any of the flour dried at the bottom.
I'm going to gently fold in 1.5 cups of black currants.
If you really want to be sure that the black currants stay floating throughout the batter, make sure to toss them in a little bit of flour before adding them in.
And my batter is ready to go into the prepared pan. I'm going to spread half of the coffee cake batter into my pan. I'm just making sure to spread it all the way out to the sides and edges. Then I'm going to sprinkle on top half of the streusel topping that we made at the beginning. Then gently spoon on top the rest of the coffee cake batter. I'm just spooning it evenly on top of the streusel topping and then gently spread it out to form the top layer. I want to spread it out without mixing in any of the streusel layer inside the cake. And then finally, I'm going to sprinkle on top the rest of the streusel topping. And my coffee cake is ready to bake in my preheated 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius oven. And I'm going to let it bake for 60 to 70 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. I'm using a glass pan here to bake my coffee cake, which typically takes a little bit longer. If you're using a metal tin, your baking time will be a little bit shorter. Remove the cake from the oven and allow it to cool 10 to 20 minutes before slicing and serving. This will give a chance for the cake to cool and set, which should make things easier to slice cleanly and serve to your guests. I think this old-fashioned cake is perfect served just as it is with a hot cup of coffee or tea in the morning. But if you want to elevate this to an after-dinner dessert or as an afternoon treat, you could serve it with fresh whipped cream, some ice cream to melt on top, with clotted cream and some homemade berry jam, or with some fresh strawberries, raspberries, or blueberries on the side. This cake is perfect to bring to brunch, garden parties, or to pack for a picnic.
If you have some blackberry currants growing in your garden, this cake is a delicious way to celebrate one of summer's favorite fruits.
Enjoy!
And as always, you can find a link to the full written recipe in the description box below.
If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks so much for stopping by.